Hello everyone. In today's session, we will cover order to cash process on the sales and marketing module or account receivable to certain extent. And the outline of the training session is, first of all, we will present overview of order to cash process, briefly what is end to end cycle, and then we will also discuss some of the master data in which involves in order to cash process. Then the sales quotation will be the topic which will explain from where the basically order to cash process starts. Sales order will come next, and then how the delivery of services and goods are handled, that will be covered. And then invoicing of the sales order, basically for as a financial document. And after invoicing, we will cover how to collect the customer payment in the system, and then we'll also demonstrate the whole cycle. So starting with order to cash process, the process starts with receiving of RFQ, which is request for quote from customer side, or maybe a prospect as well. So prospect or customer means with whom we have done some of the transaction in the past, and a prospect with whom the party with whom we have not yet done any of the transaction. So that can be a potential customer, the prospect. So we will receive RFQ, that is request for quote, from their end, or we might not also receive a formal RFQ, but might be on phone call or some email. They ask for pricing of our their as per their requirement, the goods or services they need. So they will request, and then we'll generate a sales quotation on the basis of that RFQ or any request, formal or informal. And once we have generated the sales quotation, then it can go on with the negotiation phase, or it might be accepted at the first stage. Both can be the cases. If it goes with negotiation, then of course the revision will happen. And revision can be normally, typically it is on pricing. So that revision can happen, and the sales quotation is getting revised. Once it is done, one is accepted. So the customer, they will issue a purchase order to show the commitment to purchase the goods or services from from our company, which is vendor. So on the basis of that purchase order, then the sales order is created in the system to reflect the sale of the items, which will the sales order will definitely be a sales of the items or services. So that sales order will can get confirmed, or it might also change during the life cycle. So whenever you confirm the sales order, so a confirmation journal is created, which will be a snapshot of whatever the pricing or the details are at that very stage. But again, if the sales order is revised, so once more it will be confirmed. So it can happen multiple times. The confirmation journal will be posted on the sales order. So at this stage also, sales order can be generated from a sales agreement. And basically sales agreement is a blanket order, or when the from customers and the requirements are not for sure, and they are working on some project, or might be there is not a definite there is not a definite quantity which they require. But then of course from time to time they will need the delivery of inventoried item or the quantities or services. So in that case, or in that scenario, we will generate a sales agreement. So once that sales agreement is generated, then release orders can be released from a sales agreement on the basis of need from time to time. And from a sales, either sales quotation or from sales agreement, the sales order can be generated. So once sales order is generated, then it is confirmed, as I told you, that if it gets revision, So after revision, every time a confirmation journal is posted. So once it's posted, then the delivery preparation can happen, and for that picking list is available optionally in the system. The picking list will just help in the process of preparing the delivery of goods or services. So in case of advanced warehousing, there is also complex scenario which we will not cover in this one, but we will separately do the advanced warehousing. So after picking list, which is an optional step, the delivery can happen in the shape of partial packing slips or full packing slips. So partial packing slip means if there is, for example, the quantity 100 each for an inventoried item. So the delivery can happen in tens, that is tens of each or pieces. So that means a partial delivery. So that can have 10 deliveries on the basis of the 100 quantity. Both are possible, either full delivery or partial deliveries. So once the packing slip is posted to denote the physical delivery, and by physical means the inventory is delivered and inventory is reduced from our side, that is called a physical. Financial means something which affects the finances, but the physical means something which affect the stock. So after the packing slip, we need to bill the customer to record the revenue and increase the account receivable. So we will bill the customer, and to bill the customer, there are two provisions in the system. One is called sales invoice, which is against inventoried item or services or maybe a sales category, and then there is a free text invoice, which is not against any items, but you need to select or book a ledger account in free text invoice. So that can also be used if the items are not involved or products are not involved or even sales category is not involved, then free text invoice can be used. So once we book the revenue, then we need to definitely collect our payment and to reduce account receivable and to increase our bank account. So that will be the last step in order to cash process, which is the collection of the payment via customer payment journal. So we will begin with master data in order to cash process, and customers and products are two master data which are required in the sales process, because of course without products we cannot generate the sales lines, and without customer we cannot generate the sales header. So customer can have the common information which for example can be a delivery address or can be terms of payment, which will be copied from master data of customer to the sales order header, and the products will definitely contain the unit of measure, and pricing detail can be also in trade agreements as well as on the product master data. And there can be other also, like a sales tax settings. Sales tax group can be on customer, and item sales tax group can be on item master. And once the master data is created, so it can be updated rarely whenever it is required. For example, the delivery address of customer is changed, so that can be updated, or terms of payment are changed, which are now frequently. Even if the data is set and it is initialized on the sales order, even then you can override the details which are copied. So that is also possible, and this is like default values are copied or initialized on creation of sales quotation or sales order. So whenever you select a customer, so the default data, that can be a delivery address, that can be the currency, that will be initialized from customer's master data to the sales quotation or sales order. Similarly is for the products. So the values in such a way which are copied can be overridden in the document themselves, like sales quotation or sales order. We can even then, once we have selected customer or products, the values which are copied, we can change those values. So the example can be delivery address, or it can be a pricing detail, like pricing can be coming from a trade agreement, once we have a certain trade agreement with our customer, so the pricing once defaulted from trade agreement can be changed on sales order lines, and item description can also be modified. And if there is a permanent change of information from the master data, so it's better, it is always recommended to change master data itself, in order to avoid the repetition of changing every time whenever you are selecting the master data to create such documents like sales quotation or sales order. So now the first step of the process is sales quotation. Sales quotation is basically generated on the basis of RFQ received from customer. This is a formal process, formal flow of the sales quotation, and it can be informal as well when a phone call is received from a customer or an email is received against the customer asks for certain items or services required, and customer asks for the pricing details. So that can also happen. It is not always like RFQ is received. So once the sales team, which is responsible in quoting the services and the items, so they receive the RFQ, and then the quotation is generated in order as a response or to answer the RFQ. And then once they have created the sales quotation, they will send it to the prospect or a customer. Prospect is generally a potential customer, which I have explained earlier. So on the basis of sales quotation, further documents can be generated in D365 FinOps. So let's start with sales order. So when the customer accepts the sales quotation, a purchase order is placed from their side and received for the goods or services. So that purchase order is basically commitment from the customer end that they will purchase the services, because now of course after sales quotation revision they have committed that now this pricing we agree, and we are interested in buying the services or the items from the company as a vendor. So that is received, and the sales order is generated from the sales quotation. A sales order basically is created for the order fulfillment, what is the total quantity and how that quantity is to be delivered or is delivered. And sales order has like other documents in Dynamics 365, it contains also a header with common information, mostly relevant with customer, and it can also have multiple lines reflecting multiple products or sales categories which are needed by the customer. So a sales order is basically confirmed and it is sent to the customer as a printed document or electronically. This is an optional step, but it can also be done. And as I told, that sales order journal is basically a snapshot of that sales order at that time, and it can also change. So again, a sales confirmation journal is generated, and that you can also again print it. So each sales order confirmation journal will definitely have a snapshot of sales order. So after changes of sales order, this journal will not change, it will keep there, so that you can get the printout of that snapshot at that time. So long term contracts for services products are normally handled using sales agreements, and this can you can you can generate multiple release orders or sales order. Basically release orders and sales order are both are the same thing. Orders are released from sales agreement to fulfill partial quantity of sales agreement. So release order are similar to sales order with the exception of linking with sales agreement. So sales order normally do not have any link to sales agreement until those are also release orders. So release order and sales order are both same thing. Exception is that release orders will have a link to sales agreement. So delivery management is basically how the services or items are delivered to the customer, and master planning settings can handle it on item master itself. So how the material will be basically produced or make available, That setting can be either when we receive an order, so we will purchase from a vendor, that is called a trading, that customer asks us and we purchase from a vendor and then we deliver to the customer. Or it can be production, so it means we are manufacturing company and we will generate the requirement of the we will generate or manufacture the items which are required by our customer. So both are possible. And this is called also, purchasing is called subcontracting, when even for services which are required by our customer, we can subcontract to another third party or a vendor. So a picking list document basically is optional document which helps us in preparing or picking the item from location. And even in this advanced warehousing concept is there, which we will not cover, but now we'll only cover simple warehousing. So packing slip is generated or posted to deliver the order. So packing slip is a physical document, means the stock document which will reduce our inventory and increase the inventory of customer. So that packing slip can be generated without picking list. So partial delivery is also possible when partial quantity is delivered, and then this can happen in partial deliveries, like 100 quantity is ordered and we will deliver in 10s or 15s or whatever the requirement of customer is. So that can also be a case here. Then comes the step of invoicing, and basically invoicing is a financial document. So sales invoice is generated after packing slip or even without packing slip. So packing slip is an optional step, and when you generate an sales invoice without packing slip, so the invoice will be reflected as a physical as well as a financial document. So it means when you post an invoice, so the physical inventory will also get reduced because it is now issued as a part of invoice. But if you have already generated a packing slip, so the stock will stock have had already been reduced. So that packing slip will be physical document, and then if you post an invoice, so invoice will only be a financial document. But when in case when you have not posted a packing slip and you want to directly post a sales invoice, so in that case the invoice will also reduce the inventory as well. So it will contain both the effects, physical and financial. So invoicing on sales side involves basically sales invoice and non-sales based invoice, which is called free tax invoice. And the difference is a sales invoice is associated with a sales order, whereas free text invoice is not associated with a sales order. And by that also mean that free text invoice will not contain the items or sales categories. So it will just you can just put a description of whatever you have sold, like can be a services or items, but you are not interested in involving the inventory module, and directly you will select the ledger account, that is normally a revenue account selected. Free tax invoice, as I told, it will not contain the product and subcategories, sales categories, sorry, and ledger account will directly be booked. And then after posting the invoice, on the posting of invoice, definitely there will be two effect. Account receivable will be increased and revenue will be also booked at that time. So account receivable, which is now increased, will get only reduced when you collect the payment from the customer. So at that time account receivable will be reduced and bank account will be increased. So customer need to pay against the sales invoice or free tax invoice on or before due date. So due date will be calculated based upon terms of payment which were already selected, either in customer master it was selected and then it was copied to sales order, and after in the sales order it was also copied in customer invoice or sales invoice. So that on the basis of that due date, the cash discounts can also be availed if it is possible. I mean, if it is given, then only cash discounts will be possible. And cash discounts, the intention is basically to make a better cash flow, because now when you will get the payment early, so your cash flow will be better and you can procure further inventory or stock, or your company will be in a good position. because now normally if the cash flow is better, so the company will be in a stable condition. So when the payment is received from customer, a payment journal is settled against invoice pending or posted. So this is a knocking off step when we can select any pending invoice at the time of payment, and those invoices can be knocked off at the time of receiving of payment from the customer, which is in payment journal. So the customer, if does not pay on time, then payment reminders can be created in Dynamics 365. And by that saying, in the last, we can now jump on to the demonstration part. So now in demonstration, we will see from where sales quotation can be generated. So this is the user interface of D365, and on the left hand side in the module, you can see the various modules in which account receivable is also there, and sales and marketing module is available also. So first of all, once we switch to sales and marketing module, so in the sales and marketing module, you can see in the menu there is a group of sales quotations, and there you can find this all quotations. And if the quotations are related with a certain sales representative or the sales team, so that will only show my quotation. So there are actually the list page is same, but only the as per security roles, the as per security role, whatever the rights are assigned to the concerned person, so that will be only available. So there can be also open quotation, expiring quotation, my expiring quotation, new sales quotation, and send sales quotation. So these are only filters which will show you the same list page, but only with the various different statuses. So if you can go to all quotations, the list page which will open will allow you to create a new sales quotation. And in this one, you can go at the top command above the action pane. So you can just click the new, and there will be a dialog which will open, and in that dialog you can select either a customer or a prospect. Prospect is a potential customer with whom we have not yet done any business. So account type is a possible prospect and customer. So this is one of the place from where you can create a sales quotation. So we will explore further places also. Like if you can go in a relationships group in sales and marketing module. So there is all prospect or my prospect. So it is similar way like a sales quotation is all sales quotation or my sales quotation as per the security rights. So once you go to all prospect, all potential customers will be available there. And so for example, in this sample data, this is already converted to a customer, but we can select any of the prospect. So in the sample data, which is a contoso, so I have selected this one prospect, and you can see at the top you can create a new sales quotation, and even other options are available, but we are now only concerned with sales quotation. So once you click it, so a run dialog will open where account type is already fixed. So you cannot change here to other option like customer. So it is already fixed when you launch it from a available prospect. So this is one of the place, and there is one more place. For example, in if you can go to the all customer list page, and this is also available from account receivable. So if you can go to all customers, and then in the whatever the customer to whom you are responding, you can select from that customer, and from the action pane you can select the new sales quotation in the same way like we have done in prospect. So for example, I choose this Contoso Retail San Diego, and here we can see at the top in action pane of sale, there is a group of new, and there you can create a sales quotation and also sales order. So once I click it, so the run dialog will appear, and here you can see that account type is customer. So when we launched it from prospect, so the account type was prospect. When we launched it from customer, so the account type was customer, and it is fixed now. uh, but when we launch it from the quotation list page itself, from sales and marketing module, so the option of account type selection is available, where we can choose either a prospect or a customer. So we'll just go ahead with the new sales quotation from the sales quotation list page, and here we will select a prospect instead of a customer. And once we have selected account type prospect, then the selection of prospect will be available as a lookup, and from where I can for example select Pine Shopping. So there in Pine Shopping, the delivery address is already copied from the prospect. So this is the benefit of setting up the delivery address and other information in master data itself. So the quotation number is generated. This is a unique ID. So the quotation number is a unique ID here. Until you confirm it multiple times, so the version number will be issued. A different version number will be issued, and then there is a currency code, and other fields are also available, and expiration date, which basically represents our validity of the quotation. So this is also available, and this expiration date can be set up in account receivable parameters, and in account receivable parameter the expiration date is available. So that can be either, it depends upon company to company. Some company they keep 1 week validity, some can keep 1 month. It depends upon until when they can sustain the pricing change or the costing change, basically to keep the margin under a safe range and a better range. Because now when there is a lots of inflation and fluctuation in the costing part, then of course margin will reduce. If of course every time the cost will increase, so margin which depends upon sale price and cost price, so that will decrease. So that's why the validity is very important, and here you can also change the validity even if you have kept it a value in the parameter, but still you can change it. So there are other factors as well, like delivery date, and there is a delivery date control, but we will not involve it now. We will only select none. So now we can just there is also mode of delivery, which is related with transportation, how this will be transported. So these things are relevant with the quotation pricing as well, whether it involves or from our side or their side. And there is a sales responsible sales taker fields also. So this my name is already initialized, whoever is creating, so definitely his name will be initialized, and this depends upon whoever is doing the corresponding sale, so that person's name will be available here. So and one person is can be for correspondence, and one will be actually the sales taker. So whoever is sales agent who is doing the sales can be sales taker, and sales responsible is can be an account manager or something like that, a person who will be doing communication with the customer or a prospect. So that can be sales responsible. And there is also templates option available, and you can already set templates, and you can create mass sales quotation, but we'll cover that in a separate session definitely. So once we are fine with the values, we can go ahead with OK command, and it will create a the draft sales quotation, and it will directly take us to the lines default view. And there is a header view as well, which we have already discussed, that it will keep the common information which is common to all lines, and normally it is initialized from the customer master data, and it involves the sales text group also, but we will not cover this in this session. Sales tax group is normally associated with the customer or vendor, depending upon the region or country where whatever the tax authorities are, and we need to keep them also to the party level, and then there is item sales tax on the line level. So there is address information, delivery, and these are various tabs which you can see. uh, so this is a delivery tab, and here you can see there is a requested receipt date which you can change. So this information, and the currency code is also available. So currency code you can also change if you are transacting, I mean dealing with some different currency, so the currency code can also be changed. And if there is a cash discount available, that can also be selected in cash discount field. If the payment is already it is early received, even the terms of payments are late, so you can give cash discount and incentive, so that the customer will pay and avail the cash discount, and from your end as a vendor, the cash flow will be in a better position. So that is various fields, and financial dimensions are also available based upon whatever the account structure you have set up already. So that is already selected. And once you go to the line level, so at the line level, you can see there are various fields, and each field, each row or each record will have its own settings, which is available at the bottom in the line details. And in here you can select whatever the item the customer has requested. So that item can be selected from here, and for example, I will select few of the items. So let me remove this and select another one. So there is a scroll bar, horizontal scroll bar, from where you can see other fields as well. On the right hand side, you can see there is a warehouse and site selection, and we'll select any warehouse in which the item is available, that can be selected. And in this sample data, there is multiple warehouse available, so I will select one, and automatically site is picked up when you select a warehouse, because a warehouse is under a site, so definitely that will be copied. This is the benefit of setting the master data. And then you can put up a unit price. For example, if I can put a value here, and discount in value or percentage can be entered, but we'll keep it simple now. And there is net amount is calculated 500, and quantity 1 is selected, and the unit is pieces, which is defaulted from item master as a sales unit. And then I will also pick up one more line. In this we can select a sales category, and say in the sales category, the sales category hierarchy is involved here. And normally sales category is for services where you don't want to create items. So the for those services, the sales category can also be selected without any item detail, but it can also involve item associated with the category. That is also possible, but that in that case item is selected first. So once item is selected, the associated sales category will automatically be defaulted. But sales category can directly be selected as well in terms of services. So I can keep here and the unit I can put here like hours. Yeah, HR hour is available. and let's say it is for 4 hours. No need of selecting a warehouse, and here unit price per hour can be, for example, $20. So automatically 20 will be multiplied by 4 hours to keep it 80. And this is how we have created a quotation. And there are two lines here, and the quantity and unit price is selected. And once we have selected this information, then we can go to the quotation action pane, and in quotation action pane there is a generate group in which you can send quotation to the customer who have asked by sending RFQ. So we can reply to that RFQ by sending the quotation. And here we can select print quotation in order for us to see it. And if you want to have a print management destination where you have selected another separate design, that is also possible, but we'll keep the print quotation now. And the base selection is also available, but we will just print in an interactive fashion. So the printout is available, which we can zoom in order to see the full view, and the company information is there of our company, and then customers information is given, ship to, and then you can see the quotation number here. It is unique ID, and this is the first iteration. And it can be iterative if a customer does not agree and you want to convince by giving a better price. So that is also possible, and your reference can be entered in a header where it will just print out their reference, that is RFQ number, and quotation deadline is expiry of this quotation, until when they can accept or reject our quotation. And all the lines which we have selected is now entered with along with the amount and sales price. And notes are also available from sales quotation form notes, which can be attached as attachment. So in this way we have just, and this copy we can just download as a PDF. And once we download this as a PDF, this PDF can be sent to the customer as a response to that RFQ. So once we are done, and for example, if there is some price, they ask us to negotiate, they are negotiating and asking to reduce the price. So in that case what we can do is we can revise our quotation. So then what we can do is now you can see the quotation journal is created. When you have sent the quotation, a quotation journal is created. So that journal we can view directly by going to the quotation journal, and this is our last quotation journal. So, and it can again be printed here from original preview. So this is the same print with the version number 1, and the 22 is number sequence here. So just close it, and let's go back, and for example, if just close the journal. In the journal you cannot change anything, only in the sales quotation you can change it. So here we will just revise our pricing on the request of our customer, and we are only revising one item, not the other one, which is installation services. So once we have done this, then we will again send the quotation. So now you can see the version number is changed, and with the same sequence, that is for sales quotation, the version number 2 is mentioned here. So it means every time a new journal is created whenever we send that quotation to the customer. So then also the same thing can be seen in the quotation journal itself. and here you can also go to the original preview and take the printout. So also you can check here the document number is now revised. So in this way we can have a different journal number each time. Just we can close it. So now we are in the sales quotation, and what if the customer now agrees that customer or prospect, basically we are using prospect here. Prospect agrees, okay, we are fine with your pricing, and please, then they will place a purchase order. Once they send us the purchase order, then we need to convert to the sales order, the same sales quotation. So, but for the prospect, we cannot convert or we cannot do any transaction with the prospect. Only sales quotation is possible. So, what we need to do is we need to convert the prospect to the customer. So, for that we need to just note down the number, and if we are keeping separate number, then it is okay. There is no problem. But here the number can be copied, and same number can be used for the customer. That is up to us how we are keeping the number sequence for customer. Just close this, and now we can convert to customer the prospect, and then there will be a dialog box asking for customer account number. So we'll just paste the same number which we are using for prospect, and just press OK command. Now you can see that in generate group the confirm button was not available. So now the customer is now created from the prospect. Normally all the values are now copied, even the payment defaults are copied, which can be seen, and if we need to change anything, that can also be modified here. So now once customer is created, what we can do is just close the customer form, and so once we have closed it, you can see in at the top action pane in generate group the confirm command is available. So we can go ahead with confirm command in the sales quotation. So once we confirm, and then a dialog will open, and it will ask a few details. Can be a reason code. I mean, what is the reason that we are creating or confirming a quotation? So that can be price or whatever factor you can choose on what basis the customer has agreed. So that is just like a feedback, and we have selected the price reason, and then just we'll print the confirmation. So just go ahead with OK, and now the sales order will be generated once we confirm this sales quotation. So what we have done, we have created a sales quotation for prospect. We agreed on a certain price with the customer, and negotiated and agreed on a price, and then we converted the prospect to the customer. Once we converted to the customer, then we confirmed the sales quotation, and this is the confirmation screen or print. So this is version number is already copied, and sales order number is generated. Now this is a sales order, and we can go ahead to the sales quotation screen, and here we can see in the journal, normally in the related information in action pane, sales order is available, which is linked to this sales quotation. So we can directly go from this sales quotation to the sales order which was generated when we confirm this sales quotation. So we can just go ahead with the sales order from the related information in action pane. So this is now linkage has already established between a sales quotation and a sales order. So the same information will be available in a sales order as well. So now the same lines which were in sales quotation are now copied in a sales order, and the customer information which was earlier on in sales quotation is now copied to the sales order header. So we can even change it, override it if we like, and that is possible. The currency code is also copied here, and from here you can, from the sales order, you can also go to the quotation confirmation. So now everything, because it is in sequence, so it is interlinked with each other, and always there is a link established. So what happens once we have uh, we have converted to the sales order, we can just go ahead with still the sales order is not confirmed, because only the quotation we have confirmed and it has generated a sales order. So what will happen now, we can generate a confirmation, or we can see a pro forma confirmation, which is a draft copy without posting a journal. And there is a confirm now option available without a dialog. So this option will not show you a dialog to select few more choices, but the confirm sales order will definitely generate a dialog. So we'll see each of the example, like pro forma confirmation. First, I will just select this in the action pane of sale and generate group, and I will just click the pro forma confirmation. So it will show me the draft copy of sales order. So once I need to select the print confirmation, and once I select the print confirmation and I check here, there is a overview and there are lines. So, and also it can be change if we like, based upon the requirement. Normally it is confirmed, so I will go ahead with the OK. So the sales order confirmation journal without posting will be previewed. So it will also show the label like pro forma confirmation, that this is a draft confirmation. So normally pro forma for invoicing and also for packing slip is available, which we can see before posting. And for invoicing especially we need to agree with the customer sometime on the how we are charging them, if and there is a mutual consensus or agreement is required. So in that case, pro forma invoice is generated, and then it is sent and agreed upon, and then finally the final invoice is posted. So pro forma is basically a draft copy. It is used for before posting. So this is the overall, totals are shown, and the line detail are separately showing with the sales price and amount, and everything looks okay. So we can now just go ahead with the confirmation, actual confirmation, and that we can select this confirm sales order by showing the dialog. If we don't want to just get the print preview, we can go ahead and confirm with other confirm option. So we can just select here the print confirmation, and with posting yes. When we open through proforma confirmation, at that time the posting was not this posting option was not yes, that was disabled. So now we will just print it. So now the sales order confirmation is just posted also, along with the version number here also, the same like in sales quotation. So every time a confirmation journal for the sales order, even a sales order can be revised multiple times based upon the requirement from customer or from our side, if the quantity is not available or something. So we can always revise it, and then a new confirmation journal is posted, which is just a snapshot whatever the values of sales order at that time are. So we can now just close this confirmation of sales order, and we can now see in the journals group in sale action pane that the sales order confirmation is now enabled, and because now we have posted it. So so many time, if multiple time you have posted it, so it will keep the record, and with the confirmation number will be each time a new version number will be assigned. So the second time we confirm it, version number 2 will be assigned along with sales quotation, along with sales confirmation number or sales order number. The confirmation journal version number will be there with the along with the amount, whatever it is. So we can just get a printout from here as well. And now we will just close it. And what is the next step? That is, you can now can go to, and you can see here that document status is also changed to confirmation. So once we posted the confirmation journal, so next stage can be the delivery of the item or services. So for the delivery we can generate a picking list, and picking list is just for preparation of delivery of the order. So the advanced warehousing involve more complex scenario which we will not cover here, and we'll just get a print picking list here. So here you can see there are multiple lines in this picking list. In the same way, just like a confirmation journal, we will just go ahead with the OK, and just so the picking list document is basically once we created this document, we can this document can be sent to the warehouse in order to prepare the shipment, and it will contain the items which are warehouse based, because the installation service is definitely a category, so that will not be included in picking list. So this is how we generated the picking list, and this is an optional step here. And so once the picking list has been generated, so the document status has already been changed to picking list. So now in the sales order, once we have generated the picking list, so picking list registration is also possible. We just need to ensure that the item is available in our warehouse. And now we have selected warehouse number 61 where the item is not available. So we'll just go to the inventory module, and in the inventory module, on hand list page is available, where we can check this item is available in which, and if it is available in which warehouse it is available. So just select this item, and we can also select the dimension, which is warehouse, and also enable the location. So we can see the physical inventory is available in the warehouse number 24, 25, 61. So we will just select one of like this 62. There are 10 pieces available. So we will select the warehouse number 62, and location is bulk location, and we can note this down. We can open the sales order, select the edit command, select number 62. Fees that have been transferred from a sales quotation, discount percentage. So it asks us to override the fees with the standard price or discounts. So we will just select no. Since we want them to be copied from sales quotation document. Also, we need to make sure that the location is correct, that is bulk 001, where the item is available. So for that we need to just turn on the dimensions. Just go to the dimension display, and in the dimension display you can just check the location field. So location is now blank, which we need to select exact location where the item is available. That is bulk 001. So this one is the exact location. Just now we can check the inventory on hand is available at this location in order to verify it. So you can see here available physical is 10 for this item. So we can just close this one, the on hand form, and just ignore the warning, and we can go with the picking list registration. So still in this the previous warehouse is selected. Just close this one, and we need to just confirm this once more, the sales order. We'll just select the confirm now option now. All the relevant information is available. Just close this one, and go to the pick and pack, and from pick and pack you can go to picking list registration. So again, the previous warehouse is selected. You can just change our warehouse from the picking list line. Just select the bulk location, bulk 001, and once we have selected this, just save it, and then go to the updates and select update all. So the handling status is now completed, and we can just close this. So if we can go to the header of sales order. So here the document status is picking list again, and now we can go ahead with the post packing slip. And same way we can generate pro forma packing slip, which is a draft copy of a packing slip. And already mentioned that this is a physical document, means the involving the stock or inventory. So just we will select already it is posting is by default selected, but when you select pro forma packing slip, so posting option is disabled and selected no, so you cannot change at that level. And so now we can see here for the second line, if we select first line, so the corresponding detail will show at the bottom. And now default quantity, since it's picked quantity, so whatever has picked, that is already selected. So if we select the other one, which is basically sales category, so no line is selected. So for this what we can do, we will post a partial packing slip. For that we can remove the other line by selecting that line and clicking the remove command. You can remove the line, because we need to post the partial packing slip for only one line. So now this is a picked quantity, and we will just select the print packing slip. So the HDMI 6-inch cable is now available, 6 feet cable, and we'll just post it. So now the packing slip, that is partial packing slip for only inventoried item, is being posted. It has generated us the number also, and version number. Version number is also there, and packing slip number is also there. This is our internal number, and there is only single line which was available, and that is now delivered, and the status is now delivered for this one. And this is the printout, and this is a partial packing slip. Just close it. And now in the journals, in action pen, you can see there is a packing slip journal is also available. Just go ahead with the journal. This is our header, and once it is selected, so we can go to the lines as well. So the line information is also available. And from here we can also check the voucher, which is basically posted to the ledger. So the finished good inventory and deferred cost of goods sold account are affected due to this, and the amount is also posted, and the deferred COGS is debited, and finished good inventory is credited because now it has reduced our inventory account. So this is the overall effect on the voucher, and this is based upon posting profile in inventory. So we will just close this. Also close packing slip journal. Now from the sales order, we can generate another packing slip for the other item. So for that also we can go to the post packing slip form, and in this post packing slip the default quantity is picked, and so we will just turn it to all. So the first line which involves which is already shipped, so we can remove that line. The other line which is installation service, we can select that. So we will just remove this line. So now only installation service is available, and now we can just post and print. So the printout will show you the packing slip number as well as the installation service. 4 hours were delivered. So this is basically service delivery to reflect service delivery using the sales category. So in this way there are 2 packing slip which are partial being posted. And if we can go to the journal group, so there will be 2 packing slip journals, one for inventoried item and the other one for the service. So how you can differentiate is basically through version number. So basically there is 1977 and 1978. There are 2 different version numbers. So you can just select this line and go to the lines. So the installation line is there, and once again you can go to the overview and select the other header and go again to the lines. So this inventoried item is now reflected here. So in this way we can again take the printout if we would like. We can go to the print at the top, print option, and we can have original preview or copy preview, whatever we like. So in this way we have posted 2 partial packing slips. So once these physical documents are posted, means the stock or in case of service are already delivered. Now we can charge our customer, and for this charging we need to post the invoice. An invoice document can also be partial, or it can be a full invoice. It is also both scenarios are possible. And you can also check the document status is now packing slip, and the main status is delivered, so it is already there. And also if you can go to the lines, so this first one is inventoried item. So this item, let me show the item name. This one is a 0001 HDMI 6 feet cable. we can go to the from here we can check here. The delivery reminder is an important field, or where we there, if there is a partial delivery, so the remaining delivery quantity will be shown here. If it is delivered completely, so it will not show any quantity here. So this is a very important field here. And if we want to cancel the delivery reminder, that can be possible through cancel quantity command. But now there is no quantity, so we can just cancel it. So now we need to charge our customer, and need to post the financial document. And here we can also choose pro forma invoice if we don't want to post and only want to preview, and or also want to negotiate with customer or agree upon the charging of them. So we will now choose the invoice option. So in this invoice option, the default quantity is by default now packing slip. So whatever you have selected last time, it will be retained there, and it will be saved. We will just select print invoice option, and posting option is yes, and we can go to the line level, and we can see there are packing slip header, because now we have posted multiple partial packing slips, so multiple option is shown here. Otherwise, if we have selected one we have posted one packing slip, it could have shown us only that packing slip number. So now you can see there are two lines in this invoice. It is up to us that if we want to only charge for one now, and one for later on, or one for on a different due date, that is also possible from here. And the ship date is also selected, and this document is very important, and I would suggest that please check the totals before posting it, because in the totals all the summary will be shown. And it's very important, because normally what is happening that in the accounts department, people are just posting it, and then they realize that there was something wrong. So it is very important that in order to check all the tax details and landed costs, that is total charges or cash discounts, or whatever the fields or values are there, you need to check the total form before posting it. So the currency is also means it is available there, and uh, the credit limits, all everything is there. So you need to just check this before you need to post it. And contribution ratio, margin, and everything is now available here. Just press OK in order to close the totals. If there was a sales tax applied, so that detail will also be shown in the sales tax form. That is also important to check if there is a sales tax involved. But now we are not covering this, and we are just keeping it simple. Just close the sales tax total form, and I will go ahead and just post it without making it partial. Partial is also possible, but I will just keep it simple now, and post a complete invoice. Now the invoice is shown here, and it contains the invoice date and the unique invoice number, that is customer invoice number. And then the sales order reference is also mentioned, and invoice account where we need to charge the customer is also mentioned, and all the lines which we are charging, and along with the total amount, and if there are discounts or sale tax, and whatever is due date is also mentioned here. So this is how we have just created invoice. And as a part of this invoice, what will happen, basically account receivable will be increased, and on the revenue side, the revenue will be booked at the time of invoicing. Go to the pick and pack, and in the journals group in action pan, you can select packing slip, and then now you can select the vouchers. So here you can check that deferred COGS was debited, and the finished good inventory was credited here. So in the packing slip voucher, we can see that deferred COGS, which is a control account, basically that is debited, and the finished good inventory is credited. So because this is inventory account, so it was credited and deferred COGS was debited. Now in the voucher of invoice, we have noted that account receivable, which is now debited, and the revenue account or P&L account, which is involving the product sales account, they are credited as per two entries, because there were two lines, one for service, one for inventoried item. So now this is the effect of invoice. And then we can check also that COGS account, that is finished good COGS, cost of goods sold, P&L account, that is now debited. Deferred COGS was at the time of packing slip posting, it was debited. So now that is credited, means now the reversal is going on for the deferred COGS, and actual COGS is now booked as a debit entry here. So since it is an expense account, and so expense account is now increased, or expense account is now debited. So the COGS account is now booked at the time of invoice, and at the time of packing slip, the deferred COGS which was booked is now reversed, because now it is credited, and before at the time of packing slip it was debited. So in the same manner, now finished good inventory, which is debit and credit with the same amount, but if there was a certain difference, so definitely that would have now included in this one. But since it is not any change, so both are nullified. Debit and credit entry will go away. Basically, at the time of packing slip, it was already credited. So credit means inventory account, credit means the inventory has been reduced by that amount. So in this way, and if there are certain changes, if the landed cost is part of inventory, so that will definitely, once you charge it, so during inventory closing also, when invoice is posted later on, once we have sold the items already in the inventory, those are sold, but the purchase invoice is later on booked. So at that time the cost is included, and even the landed cost is part of that one. So in the inventory closing, that will be part of the cost of item, or a recalc will also help in that one if you include the physical value. So now this is the total effect of invoicing. So account receivable, which is now debited, so this need to be credited, and how it will be credited at the time of collection from the customer. So now we will go to the payment part against this invoice. So we will just note down this customer, and basically we'll go to the account receivable, and in the account receivable the customer payment journal is available. So you can just select the customer payment journal, and you can create a new customer payment journal, and just select the type of customer payment, and then we can go to the lines. So in the lines we can select the customer which was invoiced, that is Pine Shipping. Just after selecting this, we can select settle transaction. So the pending invoices will appear in this form, which is called settle transaction. So we have already booked 560 USD invoice against this customer. So we can mark this for the settlement. And if the customer is paying partial payment at this time, so amount to settle can be reduced here. For example, if the customer is asking for half the payment to pay now, so that can be possible. That is 250 and 250 and 3280. So you can select this one, and you can select OK, and the value will be defaulted to the line automatically. And how the customer is paying, that can be selected in the offset account. So normally this USMF operation account is selected, and then the payment is received. And if the customer is paying fully, that is also possible. Then what we need to do is go to the settle transaction once again, and just unmark it and mark it. So the amount to settle will be again defaulted to be full. And once it is paying, the customer is paying partial, so next time once you select it, so the remaining amount will automatically be defaulted. So in this way, the offset account is now selected, and method of payment can be selected here. So for example, it can be a check, it can be a cash, and it can be any of the mode available. And so once it is selected, and then we can just validate the journal. Validate is just to check before posting whether everything is fine, and if it is okay, journal is okay shown, just you can post in batch if you don't want to post now and you want to schedule it in batch, or you can post now. So in this way, the payment is received, and you can also take the payment journal printout also, or you can check also the balances. And even before this can be checked before posting the journal. So here clearly account receivable is now credited, which was before debited at the time of invoicing, and the bank account is, which is asset type, is debited now. So in this way, the whole cycle, order to cash has been completed. And we will also need to look at balances. Also we can see posted transaction by journal. So this is, the customer is credited and the bank account is debited, and account receivable domestic, which is linked with this customer account, is credited, and operating account is now debited here. So in this way, this is showing the ledger account also, directly ledger account, and the sub ledger account, which is customer account and bank account. Those are also shown in this posted transaction by journal report. So in this way, there are certain more reports also available, which is part of finance. In the customer, you can see the account statement for the customer. Here you can select the records to include, and just click the filter option to select our customer. Just select the customer, and if you want to select a date range, so this is for this particular customer, the terms of payment, customer account number, and currency and address are shown, as well as with the transactional detail. And this is a customer invoice here, and let me choose also the other options. Once you go to the credit and collection module, in the credit collection inquiries and reports, you can find the customers group. In the customer group, you can find the customer aging report. This aging report is very useful in order to check the payment history of the customer. So we'll just give a date, and criteria can be transaction date, due date, or document date. So whatever the criteria you select, and then aging period definition can be selected, which is 30 days bucket here, and you can define your own buckets also. So we'll just see how it looks, and Here you can see the customer, multiple customers are selected, and based upon their opening balance as of 30 September, which we have included, and from 30 September and backward, the 30-day buckets are shown here. But since it is not having any outstanding, any transaction during that period, so that's why it is not showing. So this is one of the report as well, which you can check. And thank you very much, guys. I think you must have enjoyed it, and let me know about your feedback.